podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to episode 346 of Film Bastards. I am one of your co-hosts, Mark Foster, and as ever, I am joined by
Becky Foster. Hello, everyone.
And
Ian Loring, hi.
And what have we got for you this week? We have got,
the weirdest fucking patron section of all time, probably, eh?
We have a very weird patron section. So patrons have enjoyed the weirdness of that, and they've also, for the quite nice and cheap sum of $2 per month, they've also enjoyed commentary that myself and Ian did of Christopher Nolan's debut, Following.
Why are you staring at me?
I always stare at your lights like you. Following, or The Adventures of Creepy Bill, as we decided it should have been called halfway through it.
Creepy Bill.
Yeah, so Patreon/Film Bastards, there we go, there's the first plug for that of the day. What else have we got? We've got, I think, a really solid show here, but it's a weird mix, because there's, as I'm sure you all know, listeners, there's not a lot out at the moment on anything at all. And last week was a pretty barren one. So we threw in some oddities there. So we're going to cover the iTunes 99p rental of the week, Peanut Butter Falcon.
We really looked out on that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Could have been any old shite.
It kind of was a bit of an indie darling that never quite seemed to get the push that it maybe should have. Which we'll talk about later on. We're also going to talk Exorcist 3, which was a first time watch for you, I believe, Becky.
Is this one you actually believe me on that I've not seen before?
No, I still don't believe you. But it was a first time watch for you. I think myself and Ian covered it when we did the Exorcist movies once.
Right.
And Phantasm, which I think was a first watch for all of us, which is why we decided to do it. We are going to cover some of the movies that we mentioned last week in the coming weeks.
We're having a Becky's Choice show next week. I want Becky to pick another one for us to talk about.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, I'll have a think.
Have a think before the end of the episode.
Okay.
So we'll have more there, plus the iTunes rental, but that's next week. Let's get down to this week. Has anything happened in the news, Ian?
Well, New Zealand have announced that they're allowing film production to resume. And I believe the Czech Republic as well. So I think we could probably look forward to Bruce Willis or Nicolas Cage starring in some fucking Eastern European-made low-budget treats to come over the coming months, I'm sure. I'm sure Bruce is already winging his way over to the Czech Republic. And, the Avatar films can start filming again. So there's that.
Yay.
Yeah, quite. I don't know. It seems like the gears are whirring for some places. Not necessarily Not necessarily here. Not necessarily most of the US. I think the next couple of weeks is going to be critical for the US because I can see shit going down. Trump just closing everything off again and then saying it wasn't him who told everybody to open back up.
Yeah, the inevitably predictable.
Yeah, not quite. And I don't know. I mean, it's weird because like there are still like kind of like casting announcements and shit going on. So like Kate Blanchett has been cast as a character in Eli Roth's Borderlands adaptation.
That's
and I mean, like,
very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, like, to be fair, Kate Blanchett's got prior with Eli Roth, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, so she obviously gets on with the guy enough, which is fun.
Roth?
Yeah.
No, torture porn, Eli Roth.
It is, yeah. It does seem a little bit. I do think that Eli Roth's little turn where he's decided to grow up. I think you can thank Ian for that.
Yeah.
Because what was that Earthquake movie that he made?
Oh, Aftershock?
Aftershock, yeah. We reviewed that, and I remember you being incredibly angry. And I was quite angry about it, but you were incredibly angry and basically told Eli Roth to grow the fuck up. And then after that, he started being a little bit grown up, actually.
Look, Eli and Vin both listen to us.
Yep.
It's Hollywood personalities with 3-letter first names who appear to flock to us, and you are all welcome. But yeah, I mean, I want to say he co-wrote that and produced it, and some fucking bellend that you've never heard of again directed it. And yeah, I mean, so he did The House with a Clock in Its Walls and something else in the same year. It wasn't Knock Knock. No, Death Wish.
Death Wish.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, he's kind of bouncing around all over the place. But, I mean, hey, if I was going to, make a video game adaptation of Borderlands, I mean, a film adaptation of Borderlands, which is basically, like, a Mad Max aesthetic kind of post-apocalyptic video game, I think Eli Roth's as good a choice as any for that. And I mean, Lionsgate as well have obviously got trusted him to give him that project. I was thinking they did The House with a Clock in Its Walls, but it wasn't. I mean, like, that fucker was an Amblin film, which is mind blowing. Yeah, why not Eli Roth? Fuck it. At least it's not a no-name jobber you've never fucking heard of before. It's not the guy who directed Bloodshot. Who I'm fairly sure is not a real person.
Or Louis Leterrier.
Yeah, no, quite, yeah. And speaking of whom, Louis Leterrier, it's been announced, is going to direct Bright 2.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know that Bright 2 is going to have half the fucking budget and none of the stars.
I think they're both back, which is mental. I mean, so Bright, I remember, like, it feels like that film was 10 years ago, but it was like it's Netflix's first $100 million film, and they got David Ayer to write and direct it, starring Will Smith in a Netflix film. Wow. And now it's like, Will Smith in a Netflix film? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah,
of course.
It's like, all right, cool, yeah, Will Smith is still A-lister based on name, maybe not what he can bank nowadays. But they've had so many other A-listers now in their movies that it's like Will Smith, it doesn't really register as much anymore.
No.
I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, Will Smith, I mean, he's got I think it just got delayed into 2021, but King Richard, which is him playing the father of Serena and Venus Williams. I want to see Will Smith go for obvious Oscar play again, which is what that is, because I kind of wonder whether this might be the time. Like, do I want to see Will Smith win an Oscar? Yes, I do. Yeah. Will Smith on the campaign trail just fucking begging for an Oscar. I will watch that.
The thing is, last time when he did it, it felt a little bit it felt a little bit desperate.
It just will again.
And but the problem he made with it is he went down the wrong route and he tried to win a Best Actor Academy Award. So he had to be the only star of the movie.
Yeah.
Because there could be no focus taken away from him. And he went down that route.
He did a lot of sentimental
and it was all
crap as
sentimental
well,
crap. And it was a bit like, do you know what? That doesn't work. Whereas with sort of now, it kind of feels like he's gone, do you know what? I'm just going to make shit now. And if it lands, it lands. He's remembered his Will Smith a little bit.
Yeah, quite. I mean,
the actor though, really?
I think he's a really good actor. Yeah, I think he always has been a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's Oscar worthy as some of the fucking dolts that fucking win it.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Eddie Ray-Bans has got one. Other news. Literally everybody that is in the new Batman movie has come out this week to tell us that it's really dark.
Yeah, really dark.
It's going to be really dark. It's going to be the darkest Batman movie we've had so far.
Is this the R-Pats one?
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to it. I wish people would start telling me it's going to be dark.
It's dark. I mean, they're all pretty dark.
That's it.
It's not a light-hearted
It's not, no.
story, is it, really?
No.
I mean, the Adam West ones, they're not so dark.
Yeah, they're not as dark, yeah. That's a TV series mostly, isn't it?
Yeah. What if the Adam West Batman actually had like a backstory episode ever? Or whether it just launched into pow, bam?
It launched it a pow, bam.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's nobody needs a dark story involving a bat at the moment, do they? But yeah. So yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. I mean, like things seem to be getting announced, but again, at the same time, it's like, well, when the fuck are things actually going to be allowed to be filmed again? I mean, I'm already dreading the this film was entirely shot using Zoom shit that we're probably going to get in the next 6 to 12 months.
You mean Steven Soderbergh's third film next year?
Oh God, yeah, no, exactly. It's, I don't know, man. Like, it just.
To be fair, that film's already happened, really, hasn't it? What's that group chat one?
Oh, Unfriended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the group chat thing. I might watch that.
Yeah, Contagion 2, Zoom.
Yeah. It's. I'm already dreading fast forward a few years to when somebody tries to make a coronavirus movie.
Because you know it's not going to be somebody good.
No, and I mean, like, it's like after 9/11, you had that kind of like spate of 9/11 films, and none of them really hit because nobody wants to see a film about like something that hit that close to home and that just so many people were affected by it. I mean, United 93 was
a reminder that soon after something horrific had happened.
No, exactly. You know, I mean, like in 20 years' time, when you've got like a lot of people who won't even remember it being around, then maybe fair enough. But I don't know. I mean, like Lottie said to me the other day, actually today, she just turned to me and she said, "Daddy, the coronavirus is the biggest thing that's ever happened in my life." And it was like, yeah. I mean, it's a very profound thing for a 6-year-old to say, kid, but yes, it is. And no one is going to want to be reminded of it. No one is. For the next few years at the Oscars, I think the films that will do really well are going to be the more uplifting ones, are going to be the more populist ones. And that's absolutely, why not?
Because when was the last time a comedy won Best Picture?
Yeah, quite. I mean, if La La Land was coming out this year, it would probably win 15 Oscars.
Yeah.
It's got a really depressing ending.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think it does.
You're rooting for them the whole way through the film and then they don't end up together.
Yeah, but I don't know. That makes sense.
But they end up kind of getting what they want, and they were just like two people who had a very special thing together, and it kind of propelled both of them to do what they wanted to do in life. It's bittersweet. I wouldn't say it's depressing.
Well, I think
I'm totally mansplaining there, Bex. I'm so sorry.
What's that?
I just kind of realised how fucking mansplainy that was, and I'm really sorry. Like,
I don't really remember the film, but I remember being unhappy with the ending. I think is it maybe because they're both exposed as being really quite selfish people, and they follow their selfish shit.
You don't like Emma Stone.
I didn't like it. No, well, their weird fangs freaked me out.
I think you really need to rewatch it. It's really an absolute delight of a movie.
I really didn't like La La Land.
Well, I'm going to make you rewatch it this week. just for shits and gigs.
Come watch it once I've been forced back to work.
Anyway.
I mean, you know, this week is going to be crucial. Like, apparently this week, Warner's will decide what they're going to do with Tenet. And if that moves, then you would have to assume that Mulan moves as well. And then the next thing is Wonder Woman 1984, which should be my birthday film. And that feels a very, very long time away.
Thing, if you go into IMDb at the moment and check out the coming up section or what's new releases, like the third movie along is Wonder Woman, and it's like 3 months away.
I mean, I wonder if Tenet and Mulan do get pushed, whether they start pushing the buttons on putting some more stuff out on premium video on demand. Yeah,
because I mean, it was interesting. I think that in the past week, the New Mutants has appeared for pre-order on things.
Yeah, accidentally, apparently, though. It was subsequently pulled, but you have to wonder.
Because nobody tried to buy it.
Quite. But I mean, you have to wonder whether, like, look, if stuff just continues getting pulled, do they put that out? The next Purge film that's due out in July, Universal pretty trigger happy with putting stuff on premium video on demand. Do they put that out? You know, I think we're going to get to the point where studios are going to be a little bit like, we just need to make a fuckload of money on this while people are still stuck indoors, because otherwise you're going to get into that weird hinterland where not everybody's stuck indoors but the cinemas aren't open, and then it's like, well, what do they do there then? You know, as soon, I mean, it kind of already feels like the lockdowns fucked here anyway, especially over the last few days. So are people actually going to be stuck indoors even if they're told they're supposed to? I wonder if studios will get a little bit flighty there as well. It'll be fascinating. I mean, I still, despite some conversations I had with a couple of people on Twitter this week, I still maintain that if cinemas are open in July, they are establishing good social distancing policies. I am prepared to go to the cinema. You know, if it's as likely that I would get coronavirus going to Tesco as it would me going to the cinema, then, you know, I wonder what, or going to, or spending the day in the office. Let's say that, you know, if I'm spending 8 hours a day in the office, yes, I think I'd feel comfortable spending a couple of hours in the cinema.
The thing is, I think with that is, I'd feel with the fact that I have a unlimited card there, and I could go, and if I got there, got my ticket, went in, sat down, and people came in, and I was like, right, no, this don't fucking feel right. I know I could get up and walk the fuck out.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if cinemas, at least for like the first week or two, are a little bit like, look, if you want to leave at any time because you're feeling uncomfortable, sure, we'll give you a refund. You know, like, I wonder if there will be that kind of thing. But as I think we said last week, if people are pre-booking concessions, if the ticket system is contactless, you know, if like literally seats are taped off in a way which means that people would not sit at them even if they weren't going to sit in their allocated space, they'll be checking. I'm sure they'll be checking the screens constantly. I would like to think that people would be respectful enough of other people of going, I'm gonna sit quite far away, and if not, that the cinema staff would feel backed up enough to walk in and say, hey, you need to move or get the fuck out. There are a lot of.
So it'd be 3 seats, you reckon?
I would think what they'll do is the idea I think is to have every other row on there.
Yeah, but then you can't have people next to each other on a row.
What I read was at every other row ordered split rows. So you'd have, for instance, 4 seats on row A, and then the rest of it would be closed. You'd have the rest of it would be closed off. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would be open on row A, and then 7, 8, 9, 10 would be open on row B, and then it'd stagger back like that. So you'd have a 2 or 3 seats channel where it basically ran up what no one was sat on, and then you'd have it staggered like that.
Right.
That'd be the most logical way to do it, because then you can have groups of people. But obviously, we wouldn't be able to go sit down next to each other and have 3 randomers sat down next to us. No. It'd be set off into 4 blocks, and you get your own little 4 block, and it runs like that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean the ticketing system would be done in such a way that I'm sure it would basically be, look, it's going to be online booking only to start with. I can't imagine they're going to have any of the fucking touchscreens going. And the ticketing system will be done in such a way that as soon as you book, say your 2, it will block off the 2 seats around you. You know what I mean? It basically enforces that. And then when it comes in the cinema, if you get some fucking bellend who decides to be a prick and sits by you, then you go out, you show your fucking ticket, and then they get security to move them out.
Yeah.
I mean, could you get some cunts who will start coughing at people? Yeah, maybe, but you could probably get that anywhere.
Yeah, that's it. You unfortunately you're gonna get it anywhere, but I just think that there's ways they can deal with it. You're gonna have that risk, in everyday life. There's got to be a point. And again, what we are stressing here is if it is safe to do stuff. You're gonna get that point where everything has to start at some point, not necessarily within the next couple of weeks, but within the next couple of months, everything's gonna have to hopefully start coming back into force.
Yeah.
And there's going to be all these questions before it, and there's going to be what if this? And it's right, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of this is going to be right. You have to deal with that when it happens.
Yeah, quite. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I don't know. I just maintain that if offices are open and you are being asked to maintain social distancing within your office for 7 hours a day, frankly, I'm not then super pleased about people saying to me, well, how dare you suggest that you go back to the cinema and put other people's lives in put your own family's life in danger. No, I will be back in the office at least a couple of days of the week by July. I'm pretty much guaranteed of that. You guys may well be back in your workplaces in some form. I'm
back on Tuesday.
Fucking hell, really?
Yeah.
Jesus, wow. And so there you go then, So yes, all right, fine. If you want to stay,
I want to go to the cinema more than I want to go back to work.
Yeah, straight. No, I mean that's it. And it's if you want to stay at home, that's absolutely fine. And if you think you're doing the right thing there, that's cool. If I'm being made to go back into the office and I am given the chance to, as safely as possible, go to the cinema, I'm going to the cinema.
Yeah.
If it was right, well, no, I am staying at home because I'm not prepared to go to the office, then I don't think I could then turn around and say, well, yes, I'm still going to go to the cinema and do X, Y, and Z. I am set. Like, my whole thing at the moment is basically, if they expand out, and this must be boring for people, but we're nearly done. If they expand out the household bubble thing, and it means that my in-laws who are under 70 and do not have underlying health conditions are able to watch Lottie, then yes, I would go back into the office. If I'm asking people to go back into the office, I'm going to do that myself. I would never ask someone to do something like in work, something that I'm not prepared to do myself. I would never do that. I would leave the company before doing that. So
I just thought the same, wouldn't it?
no, I mean that quite. But it's, you know, I had to say to my guys today, like, we are, you know, these discussions are being had. If people are unable to work from home, then we are classing that as, you can't work from home, you have to come into the office. You know, there's one person who, bless her, can't figure out how to turn a firewall off on her broadband, and she can't get hold of the company to actually tell her how to do it. So we're having to say to her, look, you might have to go into the office, because I'm not too sure we can continue paying you if we can get you into the office in a way that the government says is safe, and you can't work from home. You know, so I can work from home, but I can do a full day at home, no problem. But if any of my team are going to the office and there is childcare for Lottie, then I will go into the office as well. You know, so if people are then going to have a go at me for saying, yes, okay, I will go to the cinema, I do take exception to that. You know, anyway, I can't believe you're going back into the office on Tuesday, Bex. That feels quick, just considering the fact that Johnson's only announcing this stuff tonight.
Yeah. Probably better not say anything too much about it.
No, fair enough.
If anyone listens, but
Trailers. There's actually been
fucking
some
trailers. Woo!
Go on, Bex.
Oh, it was so exciting. I got a notification on my Facebook the other day, because I follow MovieWeb on there, and it was like, the new trailer for Shirley is made available. I was like, fucking hell, there's a new trailer. And then I went on YouTube, and there's 3. It's very exciting.
Go on then.
So yeah, have you watched them? We've done the King of Staten Island, Shirley and Becky. Have you watched any of those, Ian?
King of Staten Island. I meant to watch Shirley and Becky before the podcast, but then I had to book a flight.
Yeah. The Shirley one, I don't know. I'm interested enough in that it's about Shirley Jackson. I don't like Elizabeth Moss, so that doesn't help.
I don't mind Elizabeth Moss. I feel like she's been pushed upon us a little bit.
Yeah, she's not as great as people make her out to be, but her performance has been kind of lauded.
When was the last Elizabeth Moss performance that wasn't lauded, that you didn't feel a little bit like going,
that one as great as people made out?
Fine.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, she could probably win Best Actress for The Invisible Man at the moment, so...
God, I hope not.
No, I mean, she won't, but, just considering the amount of eligible films that there are.
What I'd say is, I wouldn't count against it at the moment.
Yeah, a nomination, yeah.
She could win that, and of course, we've got our Mark Wahlberg for Best Actor.
What's that called again?
Spencer Confidential.
That was it.
Still waiting for the sequel to be announced to that.
So, what are your thoughts on it?
Don't care. It starts with a cello note,
right?
Which, like I said to you before, has replaced the single piano chord as the generic start of every single trailer. It looks by the numbers.
I disagree that it looks by the numbers.
It does. It looks by the numbers.
Right.
Do you remember a few years ago when Franco was doing all this type of stuff, and he was just churning out like 4 or 5 movies a year, and it was like so he could look like he was doing shitloads, and then when you actually watched them, it was just like they were all fine. Not everyone was great. They were all just fine.
You quite liked Invisible Man.
That's fine, yeah. And I'm looking forward to at some point watching her Smell, the punk one she did.
Yeah.
But this, it looks dull.
The main character looks incredibly fucking smug, and I can't. That is something that will turn me off straight away.
And you know, and then when you compare it to the other film of a female name, which is so Ian, what do you know about Becky the movie?
Literally all I know about Becky the movie is Kevin James going dark, which I'm quite here for it. I'm sad I didn't watch the trailer.
Kevin James plays a neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Big
That's good
swastika
casting.
tattoo on his head.
All right.
Yeah, it's Lulu Wilson, the little girl from Annabelle and Ouija, the sequel to Ouija, who is now actually not the little girl because she's like 20 or something now. I know she's still like 15.
She's in Haunting of Hill House as well.
TV, I don't care. And Joel McHale. This looks really fucking fun.
I mean, fun's probably like.
This looks really fucking fun. Yeah. It seems to me she plays a kid who is defending her family.
There's a character in it on here called Happy Son.
By taking out these neo-Nazis, but really enjoying it. Like, really enjoying being super violent.
Yeah. Kind of like an extreme Home Alone.
Yeah, like Home Alone, but with a sociopath at the centre of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does look really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I expect it to be on VOD like in 3 weeks' time.
Oh.
I'm sorry. This movie doesn't need to be at a cinema. You can drop this on VOD.
It feels like one that if they released it during lockdown, it would get an awful lot of press.
Yeah.
Because like people are gagging for content, and that sounds like some fucking content.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's going to be fun. It's an hour and a half of just a bit of crazy violence and people going, Kevin James, okay.
Yeah.
The baddie?
I would like a Kevin James Zoom conversation where Adam Sandler talks to him about his character, but frames it like the actor's studio. King of Staten Island. This is coming to VOD next month.
Yeah, UK as well, isn't it? It is a proper Universal job.
Yeah, it's proper full. It's just coming to VOD. It's not. I don't think it's a rent. I think it's a buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think this one here?
If it wasn't directed by Judd Apatow, I'm not entirely sure how interested I'd be in it. Pete Davidson is not a. I mean, I very much didn't like the way that he was, treated, like that whole kind of like, is he suicidal, is he not? Oh, and also, have you seen the girls that he's hooking up with? How the fuck's that happening? He's Pete Davidson. Like, that dichotomy was bizarre. But at the same time, I still don't think I particularly want to see him in films. It just, I don't really get him. And I'm hoping that the King of Staten Island proves me wrong there. I mean, it's a great cast around him, so I'll be very, very worried if it's over 130 minutes.
I was just about to say something to you, Ian. I was just about to say you're going to be very worried when I tell you how long it is.
Go on.
Yeah.
It's a Judd Apatow comedy. How long do you think it is?
143 minutes.
Keep going.
What? Fuck off, really?
You keep going.
150 minutes.
Nope. It's 136 minutes.
Hang on, didn't I just say 143 minutes?
Oh, I thought you said 104 minutes. Sorry.
Okay, no, yeah, 136 minutes. Okay, so yeah, that's on the threshold shit where it's like, oh fucking hell, was he just let people improv for like 20 minutes?
It's.
I don't know if I can watch 2 hours 16 minutes of Pete.
I get it.
I have a thing about Pete Davidson in the fact that all I've seen of him really is him in a few things acting and a few things he's done where he was doing Saturday Night Live. The interviews I've seen of him, I think he's playing a character in that sense. And then the Saturday Night Live, I genuinely think Saturday Night Live is a little bit of a myth. The whole thing. It's one of those things where has it ever been as good as people think it is? I just don't think it has.
I mean, there's a lot of like the old school comedians and stuff that are great came from Saturday Night Live.
Right, and that's it. There's a difference between producing greatness and actually being great. That's like saying, our crew a great team, or have crew ever been a great team? No, but the amount of fuckers that came through their academy is insane. So there's that to condemn with there. But whenever I've seen him acting and stuff, I've always quite liked him, to be honest.
The only other thing that I can say that I've seen him in is that
Jesus Rolls.
Yeah.
The Big Lebowski with more fucking.
But I'm intrigued by this. But yeah, the run time now is a bit of a worry. Everything, it might be one of those things where it hits with a certain market and just passes over the market. I think your threshold for giving a shit about Pete Davidson might kind of influence this.
I'll watch it, and especially considering the fact that it's like a fairly major release in a drought of fairly major releases. But yeah, so Judd Apatow, last thing he directed was Trainwreck.
I believe so, yeah.
And then before that, this is 40. And then before that, Funny People. It's been a while since Apatow has been particularly on it, like really, really on it. Like, you had the late noughties where he was producing things left, right, and centre, and he came out with 40-Year-Old Virgin and then Knocked Up. And then Funny People, I think, was the one that he directed after that. And then it was already like he'd just been cemented as like the next James L. Brooks or some shit. And then it kind of went wrong. If this is something that's lo-fi and it kind of gets Apatow's mojo back, then yeah, interested. If it's something where, I don't know, one of his daughters has an acting role in it, and actually, yeah, I think one of his daughters is playing Pete Davidson's sister in this, so yeah, then you know, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, jury's out, I suppose, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm just like, fucking whatever.
So Becky, I just pointed something out to Becky, and now she's on board.
I'm more on board. It depends how much is in it.
Who's that?
Machine Gun Kelly's in it.
Okay. Nice.
That's more interesting.
You're on board now, yeah.
That fucking cover that he did of Misery Business over the last week was amazing.
The cover he did of Misery Business with Charles Barker is very good, yes.
Oh, go on.
That's all for trailers, and we can segue quite nicely, moving on from the Kevin Corrigan starring the King of Staten Island to the Kevin Corrigan starring Exorcist 3.
"17 years ago, an extraordinary motion picture touched our most profound, nameless fears. Do you dare walk these steps again? Death be not proud, nor canst thou kill me. Satan grows stronger.
You believe in possession, Father?
He has found a haven.
Come to take a little blood from you, Father.
He has taken possession.
The boy had been crucified.
His web widens.
I've just never seen anything like this in 20 years.
Inside this cell,
The killer drove an ingot into each of his eyes and cut off his head.
inside a man.
Who are you?
I am no one. A man we thought had died 17 years ago.
He is inside with us! He will never get away!
You're going to lose. The real terror is back. George C. Scott in William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist 3.
Oh, that's right. He is in it, isn't he?
You know the Auto Boy?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Auto
yeah.
Boy, it's Kevin Corrigan. In another one of his great... Wait, is that Kevin Corrigan?
It's
I swear, just knew somebody who worked on the lot and would literally get her to bring call sheets to him, and he'd just turn up and sort of look around and go, "Do you need anyone to date?"
Well, it's like Samuel L. Jackson around that time as well, isn't it? Because he's in Goodfellas and
Yep.
he's in Exorcist 3 as well. I mean, he's dubbed over in Exorcist 3, but he's in it.
Yep.
In one shot. You know, I don't know. Just that's funny. There's a link to Goodfellas through both of them.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Oh man. Right, so The Exorcist 3. It is a sequel to The Exorcist,
Yes.
but not a sequel to The Exorcist 2.
It ignores The Exorcist.
It does ignore The Exorcist 2. I'm trying to go off the plot. So the plot is there is George C. Scott plays William Kinderman, and he's investigating these strange murders, which all seem to relate to a previous investigation he had for a serial killer called the Gemini Killer, who would kill people in a certain way, but also was executed 15 years before. So how is this now happening? And then when he comes across a patient in a secure wing of a hospital, he notices that this person essentially is Father... Oh, what's his name? Got on my head, man. Carius.
Yeah.
And he's somehow linked to these murders that are going on. Kinnaman also was Carius' friend, and we'll get more into the weirdness of how this all links together as we go. So, Becky, what were your thoughts on The Exorcist 3?
Well, I obviously have never seen this before.
I've got to mention a few bits in the fact that it's written and directed by William Peter Blatty, who of course wrote The Exorcist. Okay, sorry.
And didn't write number 2.
Didn't write number 2.
Which was badly received.
Yes.
I've not seen this before. I know for definite I've not seen this before because I would have remembered that scene.
Oh yeah, I remember that scene. Yeah.
I would. So yeah, it was. I didn't really know what to expect, and
you're talking about the carp scene, right?
That's so fucking funny.
That's a fucking great monologue, that is, yeah.
If that carp's not asleep, I'm gonna kill it. Anyway, so I didn't really know what to expect. I like The Exorcist more for... I can appreciate how scary it must have been at the time, and I appreciate the influence that it's had, but I don't think it's that great of a film in and of its own right anymore. I don't think it's scary. It is a good film, like the actual, but as a horror film, I don't find it scary. This was fucking terrifying at points. There was, I can't remember what the first bit was that I was like, that was really scary. Oh my god, in the
I don't know, Becky.
in the thing with the man and the
confession booth.
Yes, that bit where the voice changes and goes all creepy. I was like, oh no, I don't like this. This is horrible. And the scares seem more modern somehow and like more timely. And yeah, the fucking dialogue, the script is fan-fucking-tastic. The bants between the two main characters, I can't remember what they're called now, Kinnaman and what's he called? Dyer. It's just something that you don't have at all in The Exorcist. It's a very serious film, and so I wasn't expecting it all. But the actual there's actually comedy in it. It's like it's a horror film, it's scary, but there are actually comedy moments. So it really took me by surprise, to be fair. That jump scene is like skin crawlingly scary.
You actually made me rewind it so you can watch it again.
So I was like, I couldn't, because it happens so quickly, and it's not like, obviously there's all the build up to it and stuff, but then she closes the door, so you relax a little bit, and then it just fucking happens. And I was like, did you come out the door, or did you come from like the corridor that's just beyond the door, or what? So I made you rewind it, didn't I, so I could watch it again.
Yeah.
It is good, is that.
Of course, the modern version of rewinding, which is either saying, go back 30 seconds.
You have to say it in a silly voice, don't you? Otherwise Siri doesn't understand what you're saying.
Yes, that's true.
So, where was I? The framing of that scene as well, from it being like quite a long way down the corridor and the security guards like bipping around in the background and stuff as well, is really well done, because it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security, like, oh well, if they're there in the background, nothing's gonna happen. So there's that element to it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's the door close. That's the
Yeah.
it lulling you into a false sense of security. Like, it just, because it is like, where the fuck did it come from then?
Yeah.
That entire, just, and it gets you with that cheap jump scare like earlier on, and then
the fake out.
Yeah, and again just cranks it up, and then lets it go, and then bang, straight away. Fucking genius. And none of the rest of the film really does that. And I love how individual it is.
Yeah, and it's not within the first sort of like, it's not towards the big climax of the movie. It's the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
That's there. And it's what I like about that scene is it's clear that that Blatty is very confident about how good this scare is going to be, because he spends so long set up, and it's quite a meticulous film, I think.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the rewatch it, Darian?
Yeah, I think it's a hell of a film. I mean, it's the exorcism at the end. I'll go into it briefly. The fact that Blatty didn't want that there in the first place, and the fact that fucking Father Karras wasn't even like in the original shoot, and then they brought him in. There are elements of this is a bit compromised, but at the same time, take the studio's point that it's literally called The Exorcist 3 and there wasn't an exorcism in the original cut. Yeah, I mean, from a purely marketing point of view, you could probably get behind that. But I watched a bit of the Legion cut that's on the Arrow Blu-ray, and unfortunately, like the picture quality is awful for part of it. But it's the ending of that. It's kind of almost controversial to say, because I don't really like how bombastic that exorcism is at the end. But at the same time, the original ending is like all that stuff happens with like the woman going around their house and the shears bit, but then he just goes back and just shoots the Gemini, and it's like, oh, all right then.
A little bit, anticlimactic.
Yeah,
but
it goes too far that direction, and it's like, could there have been a compromise? I mean, it is mad that the setup of the exorcism at the end is fucking mental, because you see Father Morning, I want to say his name is, you see him literally like one scene beforehand, and then it just cuts like to like the lightning and the door like slamming open, and then him walking in, and then the Karras patient X kind of like going, I've been expecting you, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
You won't defeat me this time.
No, I mean, that's it. And then like the stuff in there is just, what the fuck?
Blake goes for it.
Yeah, no, quite. But then again, okay, Jason Miller, is that the gentleman who played Father Karras? Yeah, Jason.
Yes.
Fuck. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that he couldn't do more of it because, like, as Brad Dourif says in the extras, he was. I think it describes him as a wet head. Basically, he was an alcoholic and he couldn't remember the lines, so they only got a certain amount out of him. But what they do with that material, with cutting between his performance and Brad Dourif's, I think is really creepy and it's interesting. And I think Brad Dourif does a good job, but Jason Miller as well. Just that. Frankly, knowing that he was an alcoholic, like, and he was just haggard as fucking shit, it kind of lends something to that performance almost. George C. Scott is the shit in this film. Fucking incredible. It's a really fucking interesting film that probably would have been better if it didn't have the Exorcist baggage hanging over it, but then again, it wouldn't have been made if it didn't have that. So, hey, Mark, thoughts?
I'm a little bit kind of like upset the fact that we haven't had more William Peter Blatty movies, because there's some really fucking interesting shots and interesting shit going on. You know, Jerry Fisher was the cinematographer on it, who, you know, done things like Highlander and now Dr. Monroe and things like that. But it's a really nicely shot movie, but it manages to throw an awful lot at you. So you've got the comedy elements of it, which are genuinely funny. You know, all the interactions that you get and the little banter between Dyer and Kinderman are fantastic. You know, the cart bit especially is brilliant.
The bit where they're both explaining where they're going when they're off to see It's a Wonderful Life as well, and they both say, "Oh yeah, right, he needs me." Yeah,
there's bits like that, but they have a weirdly natural relationship with each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like patter on a script. It feels like two friends who have been friends for 40 odd years who just meet up and take the piss out of each other. You know, that's a thing. You know, then you've got this. There's an unbelievable amount of confidence to it. You know, you're making a sequel to one of, you know, at the time still one of the most celebrated movies of all time, that is still banned in some countries, that had a sequel that essentially did nothing other than piss people off, and then to come back and have the sheer amount of confidence and fucking hubris to go, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put a dream sequence in it, I'm going to put all of this fucking imagery in it, I'm going to have a close-up shot which essentially is a joke, and then I'm going to do this really long 4-minute scene of a nurse just walking up and down for literally a microsecond scare.
Yeah.
That is going to be so well executed. The precision that it takes to do that, in terms of from a director, from the lighting, from the performances, from the sound mixing and the sound editing, to get it just right at that moment. And then you've got all the stuff that's going in the background where you've got the police officers moving out of the way so that nobody's seen it.
Or to pull off a jump scare when the setup is that, like, it's obvious something's coming, but it still gets you.
But also as well to have the fucking balls as well to go, I'm not going to show the head getting cut off. I'm just going to show the shh and just the walking out. Don't run. It's just a couple of steps. It's absolute cinema perfection.
It is.
I like the batshit ending.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the batshit ending. I agree with you, Ian, that they should have made some kind of compromise and gone something else. But I don't know. I think the batshitness of it adds to the mystique of it being The Exorcist 3. Because the problem is, no matter what, no matter how good a movie you make, if you make a sequel to a celebrated movie from 15 years previous that was celebrated as The Exorcist was at the time, and still is, then what you're going to, no matter how good that movie is, it is unlikely it's ever going to get praised as being better or being as good. You might get, oh, it was good, but it's not. There's already something to compare it against, whether it's fair or not.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm glad that Shout Factory, I'm glad that Arrow have done like cult cuts of it, and have done these boutique labels have done an actual release of it to get it out there and sort of dig into it, because it's interesting, and there's a lot there, and it's a very good movie. And I think that stuff like this brings these things out, and it maybe should be celebrated a little bit more than it is.
I prefer it to The Exorcist.
Well, I really like The Exorcist. I would say I probably prefer Exorcist 3 to The Exorcist, just because I think it's got a bit more. I've always found The Exorcist really good film. And whenever, I think, like I said, when me and you reviewed it, Ian, it's one of those where once I start watching it, I'm always like, fuck, this is good. But then after it, I kind of forget how good it is.
Yeah.
And I would, if you were to say to me, oh, we watch The Exorcist tonight, or we watch The Exorcist, I'd be there going, it feels a little bit like hard work.
Yeah.
But
It's a big meal of a film.
But I know 10 minutes into it, I'll be going, this is fucking good.
Yeah. So this one feels more, I don't know, like less dated and more relatable, I think. Probably because of like the scripts and the banter and stuff like that. It's not all serious all the way through. It just feels.
I love. I think George C. Scott's performance in it is incredible as well. He is so charismatic in it. It's unreal stuff, like when the old lady comes up and says, "Are you my son?" And he goes, well, "I'd be very proud to be." And then all the interactions he has with the nurse, who literally just says at one point, "I'm a bitch" to him, and he kind of nods and goes, "Well, yeah, but still, thank you." It's just you look at him, you go, do you know what? You have the charisma to pull off how shitty you can be to people sometimes. Like when he's chewing out his detectives, and he's chewing that one out for being a racist.
Yeah.
What's that one beer he screams to the person is, "It's not that fire!" Or whatever it is that he says. It's funny.
Yeah, to the douchebag that Schwarzenegger stabs in the back in Running Man.
Nice.
It is. It's that guy.
You fucking nerd.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, have we got much else to say? I think we're closing down on this, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Definitely not shit. I think I might actually pick up the Blu-ray, the Arrow one, just because I don't often I hardly ever buy. What's it?
You can't buy The Exorcist 3 if you've not got 1 and 2.
Yeah, I can. But I kind of want to watch those special features. So
yeah.
And I think when I can pick it up for like £8 somewhere or something like that, I think I'd be quite nice with going, do you know what? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Having that.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
So and before we move on, so patrons, I mentioned that there'd be a giveaway on this week's show. So I'm going to send one of the patrons my copy of the Exorcist free Blu-ray. It's the 2-disc limited edition that Arrow Video put out. To win, you just need to be the first patron to comment on this episode saying, "Ian, your mother sucks cocks in hell."
Nice.
So I'm quite serious. The first patron to comment on this episode saying, "Ian, your mother sucks cocks in hell," will win my copy of the 2-disc Arrow Blu-ray of The Exorcist free.
Good work.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're definitely not shit on it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's 3 definitely not shit. I'm just going to check on our audience poll. Once my Twitter starts being a little bitch. Definitely not shit, 79%. Touching cloth, 7%. Shit, 7%. And those people who can do maths out there, that would make Geostorm 7%. The thing is, I can see why those numbers came out.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So moving on. Next on to what should we do next? I was going to say, because I'm in charge, we're going to do Phantasm next.
Phantasm. Is it a nightmare? Phantasm. Is it an illusion? Phantasm. Is it an evil?
You have to take me home.
But why?
No questions. You must take me home.
Phantasm. Is it a fantasy? Phantasm. Is it alive?
There was nobody driving.
Whatever it is, if this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead. Phantasm.
So a movie none of us had seen.
I'm gonna get another glass of wine before we talk Phantasm. I'll be back.
No worries. I will try and fill up by doing my little synopsis.
I want to have a drink in my hand talking about Phantasm. Sorry, I'll be back.
I do that loads, pretty much all of the time. So Phantasm, a 1979 sci-fi horror film, written, directed, shot and edited by Don Coscarelli for $300,000, which is insane. I'll get into my feelings behind why that's insane quite soon. Stars some people. The plot starts with a man getting murdered while getting on in a cemetery. I have thoughts about that scene, which I will explain when we get into more details of it. And then at his funeral, his brothers are there, and the younger brother sees a tall man loading up the supposed coffin into the back of a car, and then weird shit starts to happen with fucking dwarves and fucking people disappearing and all weird shit. A ball with spikes in it that stabs people in the face and blood shoots out, and it's blah. And yet, for some reason, I have no idea why, but I hadn't seen this, and it seems like it's not like one of the big horror franchises like Friday the 13th or a Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like the next tier below that. But I have seen so many fucking tiers below this tier that this would sit on that it kind of blows my mind a little bit that I have never seen Phantasm. It makes no sense. It has many things that I look for in horror movies.
I love that I just walked back into the room to you actually like acting out the mind blowing like thing.
I'm a handsy man. So yeah, we'll get to my issue with the opening scene when Ian gets back, Becky.
Okay.
Because I had a deep issue with the opening scene, didn't I? the murder of.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, what a fucking weird thing to fixate on.
Yeah, this in a way could be my putting them on hold for Ian. 5 movies, but the whole crux of it is me going. Ah? So before I get into that, and we try and work that out without me acting things out this time.
Yeah.
What did you think of Phantasm?
Oh, you did act it out, didn't you?
Did act it out, yeah.
Oh, don't disappear. I really enjoyed Phantasm. It's mental, but it's that kind of era horror mental that you kind of like. It's pretty well acted, to be fair. It's fun. And it's actually quite a good story. Well, it kind of goes off a cliff when the portal comes into it, but the sort of grave robbing and sort of wondering why they're robbing the graves, and then it turns out that they're slaves on another planet is a bit random. Yeah.
It shows scope.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good. I was the same. There's a
We commented, didn't we, while we were watching it on the practical effects sort of side of
yeah,
it.
$300,000 this cost to make, and it's all because it's really clever filmmaking. It's money spent really well on little things, and it's the beauty of the problem is nowadays, and you can use one director to highlight this that makes perfect sense, and it's Tim Burton, because he has crossed over. He has had practical effects and he has had computer generated effects, and it is before you had to be able to. You could imagine something, but you had to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So what the idea was is people didn't, filmmakers and things like that, they didn't start by going, right, what can I do? They started by imagining the thing they wanted to do, and then it'd be a work back from there to, right, well, what can I do? And the clever thing about, but the problem there is, with CG, anything you can imagine you can do. We don't get to say it's going to fucking look good no matter what it is.
No.
But the clever thing about Phantasm is, it was, right, well, I need to do this. Well, I'll do this, I'll do this. And like you were saying there, forced perspective is used so well in this movie. And the sets, it's mind-boggling how good a looking movie this is for the amount of money it costs.
Yeah, the bit with the portal, and
Yeah.
watching it and like, oh, it's just that it's further forward, and then there's a white bit.
You've got two fucking two blade steel poles there, a bit of white sheeting, and a fucking slide whistle.
The slide whistle, you love that, didn't
I
you?
love the slide whistle, but that looks, nowadays that would be CGI, and you'd look at it and you'd go, that's CGI.
You also enjoyed the beer kegs.
I also enjoyed the beer kegs that were the portal things. Just a beer keg spray painted, what is it, with a bit of so you look like a window with a bit of fucking
perspex or something.
Blue what would even be that? It'll just be blue linen paper. There, it's just a really fucking clever idea. It's just really smart. Ian, you back in the room?
Hi.
We were just talking about how smart filmmaking it is.
Why didn't anyone tell me that Phantasm is one of cinema's greatest achievements?
Thank you. It is. It really is yeah. I am angry at myself that it's taken me this long. Why I didn't watch this when I was like 14 years old, or at any point since then, I don't know.
It's a fucking belter. It reminded me more of like a fucking Fulci film, than anything that American horror cinema was putting out at the time. Like, it's this wonderful, surreal dream logic that goes throughout the whole thing, which, you know, kind of makes sense given the end of the film, but just, I never knew what the fuck was going to happen from one moment to the next. You know, I knew about the flying balls and I knew about the tall man, but didn't know about what I mean, the plan is mental. It's like, what? So what? Is aliens have found their way to a funeral home where they steal corpses, shrink them to like a third of their size, and then ship them off back to the alien planet as slaves?
Yep.
Brilliant. Why didn't I think of that?
It is. At least, like I was just saying, there's no dumbing down of the scope of the movie. It's there's this. Let's make a fucking movie of it.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some of the stuff that Coscarelli does here is so interesting, and it's just little flourishes, like that one moment where Mike picks up the picture, and it's like a shot of his hand holding the picture, and then the tall man like looks at him from the picture, like that is a fucking cracking shot. And
it's clever filmmaking.
Oh god, yeah, and again, it's got that kind of like dreamy, woozy like nature to it. The ball eye view, like chef's kiss shit that was, that red, like it's like it's all red and it kind of sees red and black, and then the noise that's accompanying that. Oh, also, fuck, my phone's ringing. Oh, it's my mum again. Jesus Christ. But oh god, I'm so sorry. Two ticks. Hi, Mum, you okay?
I don't understand. I'll be
okay. Okay. I honestly have no idea, Mum. I'm sorry. Maybe use his card. Just use his debit card. I honestly don't. I honestly don't know. Then, Mum. I if he can maybe exchange some euros for some Bulgarian currency, that might be a way around it. I don't really know what to suggest. Yeah, I would have thought so. Maybe there'll be a cash machine at the airport. Well, I'm sure Bulgarian cash machines are legit, Mum. Don't worry. We've got a couple of days to think about it, Mum. Please don't stress. He'll be fine. He'll last 4 hours in a Bulgarian airport. It'll be okay. But you could get something on the flight. You could get something on the flight to Bulgaria. Like he'd be able to use euros on that. Yeah, it'd be fine. Yeah, it's just, Mum, I've never been to Bulgaria. I don't really know what to suggest there. Sorry, Mum. All right. But all right, bye. If any non-patrons want to know what that was about, $2 a month, patreon.com/filmbastards. My mum doesn't trust Bulgarian cash machines. Brilliant. Right. God, where were we?
That sounds like a Silverson song from the mid-90s.
I just, yeah. Oh God, I've completely lost the thread. I'm so sorry, both. I mean, it's a film that just doesn't really seem to like, cult circles know it, but you watch this and at the start, like a Bad Robot logo comes up, and then that reminded me, that J.J. Abrams, like, basically through his company, funded a restoration of fucking Phantasm because that's how much he likes it. Like, there's just, and you see why though. It's a very, very stylish film. The score fucking bangs.
Yeah.
Like, that main theme is amazing, and I'm kind of minded. Do I want to see another 4 Phantasm films? I kind of think I do.
Yeah, well, we turned out each other and went, yeah.
I'd watch more of them.
I can see us watching the next one of those quite quickly. But the next one actually happens. It's 9 years later that the next one gets made.
Is it Coscarelli again?
It is, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I think he directs all of them but one. It's the same cast as well.
So I take it, like Jodie, he's not in the other ones.
I'm not sure. He might be. No, it's Reggie and
Reggie and Mike, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was,
I think.
like, that ending, like, really, like, smelled of the guy who played Jodie was a dick on set, and they basically just ensured that he'd be written out of it. Like, it's a very odd ending because, I mean, even that mine shaft at the end, it was like, it's not a mine shaft, it's a fucking hole in the ground. What the fuck's going on? And then the lad wakes up and it's just like, well, yeah, there's that kind of dream logic thing where a hole in the ground could be a mine shaft that's thousands of feet down. Who knows? And just the whole the Reggie, that guy, how old is that guy? Because he's either like in his 20s and has incredibly bad luck, or is in his 50s and has weirdly good luck.
Reggie, the actual guy at the time, was 34.
But I said this as well about Mike, didn't I?
Mike
was incredibly mature for like 13.
Mike is the oldest 13-year-old I've ever seen.
He was driving, he had a motorbike, he was packing heat.
Yep, he MacGyvered the shit out of that, blowing up that door as well.
He fucking did. And all the actual stuff that was done towards getting rid of the tall man, Jodie was just there like, ooh. And like Mike was like, yeah, just fucking shoot him. Doing all the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it was weird with that. Old Mike. And then at the ending, all got a little bit humbert, didn't it? When he was saying, yeah, Mikey, we'll take a road trip. We'll go around the country. That was a bit creepy with that.
It was a little bit odd, yes.
Yeah.
He was getting a buggering.
I don't think you can say that.
It's been said.
So,
and just one other thing I liked as well. You guys might have mentioned it while I was away. I fucking love. There's that ominous noise when they're kind of like exploring the funeral home and they find the space gate thing. There's that noise, and you think it's like on the soundtrack, and then it just turns out to be the noise in that room. And when everything goes dark, that noise goes away. I really liked that. I like the whole kind of the diegetic sound, even though you don't think it's diegetic sound. I just thought it was like ominous mood music. There's shit going on in this film throughout that it just feels like a lot of a care has been paid to it, despite the fact that it kind of on the outset it's just this kind of like gnarly low budget horror film. But it feels like Coscarelli's vision put on screen, as fucking batshit as that is. Yeah. It's really fucking impressive film. It's fantastic.
Only one thing bothered me about it, wasn't it, Max?
What, the girl's teeth?
No.
Which girl?
Oh. There's one thing that bothered me about that. So you know the opening scene?
Yeah.
In the cemetery?
Yeah.
So it opens out and all you can see is legs, can't you? From two people who are obviously getting on.
Yeah.
Right?
Getting on.
And so they're laid down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
With her on top laid down, which is already a odd sexual preference, but it can happen. But then it flashes back to the scene of him and him laid down, and she's clearly on top, but is
Clearly sat. Maybe she's doing like.
I tried acting this out for you, and it didn't work. The logic for it didn't work.
She's doing like the cobra yoga position.
No one can cobra that high. No. Nobody can cobra
that would be
that high.
Impressive back bend, wouldn't it?
I would counter that is physically impossible.
Would you counter it would be more of a back break?
It would be a spine snapper. Yes. So yeah. So
having to move.
It confused me to the point the other night when we watched it, didn't it? That
you did. You did. I try and act.
I did try and work out how it worked.
Laid on the floor there.
The physics of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't work it out.
No. It really bothered you, that, didn't it?
It did really bother me. Yeah.
Paused it for a bit there while you tried to work it out, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
I mean, don't say we. Don't involve me in this madness. I didn't pause it. I didn't care.
It just
bothered you.
It bothered me a little bit, yeah.
In a film with such great attention to detail.
Yeah.
That they would miss that.
Yeah. So what we have then, guys? Definitely not shit?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Definitely not shit, yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one, actually.
Yep. Well, our audience poll, definitely not shit, 64%. Touching cloth, 27%. Shit, 9%. And Geostorm, for people who can do maths, 0%.
That was such a weird fucking thing.
What?
For people that can do maths, and then leans in towards me with the crazy eyes going on.
You guys really can't do maths.
Oh, clearly I can.
Ian, what have you been watching?
Crazy eyes.
All crazy eyes. You don't know what I have to put up with Saya doing this. Normally, when it's just you two doing podcasts, he's still here gesticulating and being weird, but he's got no one to like creepily stare at or do crazy eyes at. Probably the dog gets the brunt of it then, doesn't he?
Anything that's near.
Our fucking dog's barking like no one's business, and we don't know why. She's really been on one today. She fucking bit Donna, like drew blood.
Really?
Yeah. She was trying to, like, basically, Donna took her out for a walk with Lottie, and there was a load of, like, spilt food waste on the pavement, and she got a fucking bone in her mouth, like a chicken bone. And Donna was, like, trying to get it out of her mouth, and she fucking clamped down on Donna and made her fucking bleed.
God.
It's, yeah, a little bit shaky on Kiki at the moment, if truth be told, but we'll see how it goes. Just the minute she does anything like that to Lots, then yeah. But hey, so
have you ever wondered what so-called family films will scar your kids forever?
Putting 4 and 5-year-olds in front of this movie, it's like, if they didn't know what death was before this, they're going to know it after it.
They're going to know it after it, and they're going to be freaking terrified.
And they're going to be questioning you.
Yeah.
Or do you have the slight suspicion that your loved one has a cold, dead heart?
Yeah, the Dark Knight has got like all the orphans, and like, oh no, we're going to die. They did not build up those orphans at all. In my head, it's like, kill them.
Then look no further. The His Film Her Movie podcast is the show for you. It's the movie podcast that celebrates the contrasting cinematic tastes of its hosts. So join Jordan and Lauren every week on their unique journey through the land of the silver screen. So if you're looking for a few laughs, some fun film related chat, then get involved. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Mulberry Boys every Friday night on the show. You better know they keep it tight. ETL is back and the J-Strom's in the zone. Introduce the co-host, he doesn't do it alone. PCZ is about to hold court. You know he's on the headset, you can hear him snort. Pop culture, movies, TV shows, and games. Rotten Tomatoes, reviews, news, and Blu-rays. Foggy don't play around, he will bust a drop fast. Welcome to the Entertainment Landfill Podcast, the Jason and Steven Show. It's the Jason and Steven Show. What? The Jason and Steven Show. It's the Jason and Steven Show.
I have watched a few things outside of what we've been covering. Rewatched Jumanji: The Next Level. And I think I've identified why I was pretty lukewarm on that when we reviewed it. Because the first half is really, really fucking good and really funny, and the second half is not. As soon, like, the Danny DeVito and Danny Glover in the Other Bodies stuff, pretty fucking strong. As soon as it starts introducing Awkwafina and, like, the horse being the blonde girl and the magical pool where they can chop and change personalities, it gets very plotty, and I think the film thinks you like the relationship between the kids who get sucked into the game more than you do. The second half is very, very focused on their relationships, and not buying it. However, the tease for the third one, if the third one is going to be the video game characters come to the real world, so you've got The Rock playing Smolder Bravestone and Jack Black playing whatever the fuck his name character is, etc., etc. I think that could be quite funny. And if they're going to do a third one and end it there, then why not? But yeah, it's I was laughing a lot in like the first 50 minutes or so, and then it really died off. But it's not terrible. But yeah. So, also watched Zodiac Director's Cut.
Ugh.
So, I've owned the US import of the Zodiac Director's Cut Blu-ray for literally years and not watched it. And I've seen the Director's Cut before, but I hadn't really had a Blu-ray player about. My 4K player, fucked up the other day, but now appears to have stopped fucking up, which is nice. So it's okay now. I'm not going to talk any more about that because I don't want to jinx anything. But so, why did I order the US Director's Cut? Prepare for some nerdy shit. The UK Blu-ray of the Zodiac Director's Cut is one disc for the film and the extras. It has a Dolby Digital 5.1 soundtrack, and the extras are in standard def. The US Blu-ray has them split across two discs. The bit rate of the video is about twice as much as the one disc UK one. It's a Dolby True HD lossless 5.1 soundtrack, and the extras on the second disc are in HD. So I am very, very happy with my choice. What I would say, if there's going to be a 4K of Zodiac Director's Cut at some point, I'd be up for that. It was filmed in 2K, so it would be an upscale. However, if we were going to get an even more increased Blu-ray and get some HDR going on in that motherfucker, if it was Fincher approved, I'd be up for seeing it. But this Blu-ray looks fucking lovely. And even digital cinematography in 2007 was a fucking world away from what George Lucas was doing with Attack of the Clones in 2002. Zodiac Director's Cut is a fucking masterpiece. Is it my favourite Fincher? Bit of a battle with The Social Network there, in all honesty. But I don't think it's far off. Also, it's got just the right amount of Robert Downey Jr. Because he's in it quite a bit in like the first half or so, and then he's basically in it for one major scene and a couple of like shots of him in the second half. Kind of perfect RDJ amount there, I think. He kind of gets his moments. He definitely makes his impression and he drops off. And then the rest of the film is primarily Jake Gyllenhaal with some Mark Ruffalo every now and then as well. That's a pretty great combo. It's just procedural stuff is my shit.
Yeah, that's it.
And like just the way that it bounces to Arthur Lee Allen and then bounces off of him, but then you've got that revelation at the end. I mean, despite the fact that we never found out who the Zodiac actually was, this film has obviously got its opinion on that. And it's fucking heartbreaking that in this film's view, it basically comes down to the fact that his handwriting didn't match, even though it was essentially the opinion of one kind of like constantly drunk handwriting expert, and the fact that years later he didn't have some shit in a trailer he moved into after the fact. Like the rest of the evidence, like the moment where Jake Gyllenhaal was like, his name was whatever the name is he's saying, his name was this and his name was this, and then she was like, Lee, his name was Lee, and it's like hits you like a fucking thunderbolt, that. And then at the end, where the grown-up version of the kid from the first sequence comes back, and he's like, I haven't seen that face for 30 years. You know, it's fucking incredible. You know, it as a procedural, as a character piece, as a fucking technical showcase, it's like otherworldly. Like the shit that they do in the background to kind of just like subtly recreate 70s like San Francisco and like the kind of California area is amazing. But then also you've got these individual scenes of just pure terror, which ease up after the first hour. You know, the murder in complete stark daylight is horrendous. You know, the way that the guy in the situation is like playing it really cool, and he's very confident. He's maybe too confident. He's just pushing the Zodiac's buttons just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And then he gets murdered, and the girl gets murdered. That sequence, even though like it puts it to doubt whether it was the Zodiac or not, of you know, before I kill you, I'm going to throw your baby out of the car, or whatever it is he says. And then just like there's this one just like piano chord after it, and it cuts to black. It's fucking horrendous. But I think it's really interesting that you've got these reenactments of Zodiac murders in like the first hour or so, and then the last hour, 40 minutes, there's none of that. You know, and it's basically because like his stuff dried up. But I think that's interesting. It kind of pushes you it pulls you in one direction and pushes you in another. It's hell of a film. And you know, it's been said many times before, but if Mark Ruffalo was going to do a Columbo series, then yes, please. You know,
yeah.
But yeah, I was really, really glad that I finally watched it again. I want to. Like, especially while this lockdown stuff's continuing, I want to try and get through long films that I've been meaning to watch again for ages but haven't got round to. So Casino's next. So I'll probably be talking about that next week. 4K Blu-ray of that, I had a little look at it the other night, is fucking incredible.
That is a
like
long one, that one.
Oh yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Watch that as well, so we can all do it.
What is that? Is that the third Becky's Choice? Is it?
Yes, Casino. Fuck yes.
I'm fine with Casino.
Awesome.
Nice.
I have to put my James Woods boycott, but
he's been in some good films.
He
He might be a twat, but it is what it is.
Right, sweet, cool, good. My last one for this week is Mortal Engines. So. This I randomly bought it for $2.99 in the iTunes like big blowout thingamajig that they did. You know, they do it kind of every January or February. It's like for a week. It's like $2.99 for a shitload of stuff.
It's like the big mega movie
week or some shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, just been meaning to watch it. And it's on Sky Cinema now as well. So this is directed by Christian rock band sounding name Christian Rivers. It's written by Peter Jackson and Philippa Walsh and Fran Boyan. So written by the writers of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And bombed. Did really, massive bomb. came out the same Christmas as Aquaman and Mary Poppins Returns, if I remember correctly. And yeah, just got completely sunk. I'm just bringing up its total now.
It was
horrible.
83.7 million.
83.7 million worldwide off of $100 million budget. I mean, that's actually not as bad as I thought it was, considering that it did 15 million total in the US. I mean, that US number is fucking horrific. 15 million, and it was Universal's big like Christmas 2018 release. So, story of this: countries or cities have basically become cities on wheels. So London is a city on wheels, and it gobbles up towns and villages around it.
Fair enough.
And like takes their resource and their people like live in London, and it basically like that it eats the things around it and then fuels its engines basically. Like I say, basically.
It's a bit of a commentary on urban sprawl then.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, really. So a girl tries to kill like the leader of London, played by Hugo Weaving, and she's stopped by a guy, and the guy runs after her, and she basically says like ask him why he killed Pandora Shaw. I'm not making that name up. Pandora Shaw, that's the name. And Hugo Weaving follows and says like, what did she tell you? And she's like, well, she was talking some bollocks and said like saying something about you killing someone called Pandora Shaw. And then Hugo Weaving like pushes him off this thing that she went down as well. So the two then team up and go on a kind of an adventure around this post-apocalyptic wasteland, while Hugo Weaving is trying to develop a super weapon that will finally enable London to break through a wall and take over the rest of the world. I believe it's based on a book. To be fair, with a title like Mortal Engines, you'd have to imagine it is based on some existing IP, because otherwise, what the fuck? And it doesn't.
I don't. It's on Mortal Engines by Philip Reeve.
There you go. It doesn't entirely work like at all. The first 15-20 minutes or so, it sets up quite a lot of characters, and it really only focuses on two. There are a couple other characters. One of them's Hugo Weaving's daughter, and then this other guy, and they have a little bit of a subplot, which the film then seems to just completely forget. There's also some stuff involving the backstory of the main girl that you just see coming a mile off, and it's why are you even bothering with this film? But it looks like the world that it creates is something. It looks like not a day of like location shooting was done. It was entirely fucking green screen. But the worlds that Weta created here are pretty captivating. There's also an interesting development in the third act where they need to get somewhere to like save the people, and then the leaders of that land make a decision, which brings up some interesting ethical shit. Also, the film very neatly wraps itself up by the end of it in a place where it's like, well, yeah, you could probably do more with this, but the characters in the film that you kind of like care about, their arc is complete enough. The story in this film is told, and I respect that. It's 2 hours 8 minutes, which is just about as long as you want it to be. Yeah. But for spending $2.99 on it, I'm all right with that. And I kind of wish I gave it a shot in the cinema, to be honest. It's quite a big screen film. I'd be intrigued to see what you guys make of it if you ever get round to it. It's not ones where I'd immediately say you guys should watch it, but I'd be intrigued to hear what you think. I will also say there is a character that is motion captured by Stephen Lang. I love me a bit of Stephen Lang.
Who doesn't?
Sorry?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, quite. And his character has just a really fascinating backstory. And his last scene is fucking heartbreaking. And you would never, ever, ever have thought that, like, when his character is introduced. He plays a character called Shrike. So if you ever watch it, just watch out for Shrike. And his arc is a hell of a thing.
I'm going to be catching this for sure. Because
I've tried to watch this before.
Have you?
I fell asleep.
Was that the content of the film or just because you were tired?
The film wasn't exactly gripping from the get-go, and I think I was possibly a bit tired as well.
Right.
I think it was
Well, I'm going to give it a go because...
Yeah.
Because why not?
Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
I mean, just the cities on wheels thing is a hell of a concept, and it does a pretty good job with it. Like, yeah, give it a go.
Nice. Is that like your last one? Did you say that, Ian?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Cool. Next, what are you watching?
On my own, I have watched. I rewatched Ready Player One. Didn't enjoy it as much on a rewatch as I did on the first watch.
Because you really liked it first.
Yeah, I still really enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite as like I don't know, it's gonna sound really cheesy, but like magical feeling as on a first watch. Probably because I kind of knew what to expect, I guess. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. It didn't get me as much as it did the first time.
Fair.
And then I watched Escape Room.
What was that like?
Have you seen it, Ian?
Yeah. So there's been a couple of escape rooms, but this is the one that actually came out in cinemas, yeah?
I don't know, because I think I've got the wrong escape room here. Hang on. That's not it.
Was it the one that had the sequence that was kind of outside and it had like the frozen over lake?
No.
Okay. You've watched the other escape room.
The one that's on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't think that's the one that came out in cinemas.
No.
Okay. Hang on. Escape Room. There we go. Director Will Wernick, 2017. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, no, that's the one that's on Netflix. I know the one that you're talking about because I've seen it on Netflix. That's not.
Also, yes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you didn't watch the one that came out in cinemas. You watched the one that randomly is on what is it?
I'm kind of intrigued though. How was this one?
Do you know what? I really liked it. To be fair, it feels kind of, you know, like when you watch old school horror movies and there's some artifact and then the artifact kind of infects things and like shit ensues. Like there'll be like some fucking mask or something and anyone that goes near it gets possessed by it and things like that, like crazy stupid stuff like that. So let me just find it so I can say like who's in it.
Generic bunch of skin jobs.
Yeah.
But literally that is it. That's who's in it.
I'm trying to find the guy that plays the owner of the place. Anyway, the owner of this escape room has gone to this pawn shop. Not pawn, P-O-R-N, P-A-W-N. Don't look so excited. To buy this artifact that is heard is there. Or he sees it while he's in there or some shit anyway. And he buys it because he thinks it'll look cool and spooky in the escape room. But there's also this legend attached to it and blah, 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 that the spirit can infect things. And so what actually like happens is, so this group of friends go in there. One of them's a reviewer for like a horror website. So he wants it to go really well. And then the camera's in the room where he can watch to make sure nobody's like I don't know, having a heart attack or anything like that, they go off. But because he's so worried about this horror reviewer's review, he doesn't want to disturb them partway through the escape room. And like, there's nothing that can go wrong. Like, the only other person in the room with him is an actor who is like wearing like a boiler suit and like a big like bag, like a sack over his head with eye holes in and stuff. It's got like a chain round him, but every 15 minutes the chain releases a little bit more so he can go further into the room. But like, he's just an actor. But then this thing activates, which is what sets the cameras off. But then he's not an actor anymore. Like, he's possessed, and like one of the guys gets too close, and then he just like stabs the shit out of him, and like he's just dead on the floor. And gradually, like, he gets further and further into the room, and it's actually really tense. Way better than I expected it to be. Actually, Isabel recommended it to me. She was like, "Have you watched this on Netflix?" And I thought I'd give it a go. But yeah, it was a lot better than I expected it to be. Like, it's not classic horror, and it's definitely not prestige horror by any stretch of the imagination, but it's quite good fun, and it does keep the tension quite well.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Solo?
Yes.
I've not watched anything Solo.
You little bitch.
I'm a little bitch, yeah. Well, actually, I did. I watched Following, but I'm not going to talk about on this. If you want to hear what our thoughts on Following were, you can goddamn fucking pay for it, motherfuckers. Except you guys are already paying for it. Thank you. So what else have we watched, Bex? We won't talk about them too much because we've talked about them before. We've watched Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, haven't we?
Yeah, we've
gone our Professor Langdon-a-thon that happens once a year.
It's always such a pleasure.
The Langdang-a-thon.
I haven't actually loved Da Vinci Code. I've only loved Angels
Wow,
and Demons.
fuck you.
Okay.
But so yeah, we rewatched those because why not? Somebody's got to.
They're so much fun. I actually might reread Da Vinci Code.
I wouldn't invite that.
No.
We did, however, also rewatch Inherent Vice.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Makes a little bit more sense every time I watch it.
It's such a fucking film, this.
It is. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's Paul Thomas Anderson. This is the Paul Thomas Anderson I really like spending time with. I enjoy spending time with, the movies that he's made, for instance. I need to rewatch Master, and I will rewatch The Master. But Phantom Thread is fantastic, and he's beautiful, and he's actually a really great horror movie. There Will Be Blood, again, is a great, almost psychological horror movie. But the fun that he has with movies like Boogie Nights and, to an extent, Magnolia and this,
yeah,
you get the feel like he's laughing along with it. He's having a great time making it.
Yeah.
You know, the Master, I don't think he had a great time making a Master. I think it was a project that he constructed and he put together, and it was precision. It's a serious movie that they made, and I do need to go back and rewatch it. Whereas this seems like, right, we need to go for it. We need to go zany. You know, you cast Owen Wilson in your movie as this character, you're going to go a little bit fucking zany.
Yeah.
Especially if you do a shot that's supposed to look like the fucking hippie version of The Last Supper. It is the bravado and balls on this movie are fucking huge.
Yeah.
But down to things like the Bigfoot may be one of my favourite characters in cinema.
Bigfoot's great.
Just fucking the amount of fun that Josh Brolin is having with that character. The fact that he's always making weird sexual references to things. With the frozen bananas, or the bit where he's asking about if they had sex and he's just constantly pushing his finger into his other fingers.
And the always classic Moto Panakeku.
And the Moto Panakeku is just beautiful. It's Joaquin Phoenix's reaction to it all. But then the Joaquin Phoenix reaction to the picture of the baby.
Yeah. Oh.
When he looks at the
God,
picture.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's naughty.
It's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to actually. I didn't realise it was based on a book. I probably should have, with it being as weird as it is. But I'm looking forward to. I've got that queued up to read after I've finished Norwegian Wood, which I've got queued up to watch after I've finished reading it. So.
I just
I'm doing Inherent Vice the wrong way around, really.
Yeah, it's so sad that it didn't hit and it didn't connect with people.
Was it not well received?
It was well received, but it didn't make money.
It did the usual PTA thing, didn't it? It was like really fantastically well reviewed and then did fuck all.
But it's not commercial at all.
The thing is, there's that, but I also think that it wasn't critically as well received because it's Paul Thomas Anderson having fun. It's not serious Paul Thomas Anderson, and I think the people who are raised on Paul Thomas Anderson movies post There Will Be Blood. So There Will Be Blood and The Master and my friend, they can get behind those because he's this auteur filmmaker who makes these really thinky and really heavy, weighty pieces. Forget that he's also the guy that made fucking Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
And it's like the people who were introduced to Paul Thomas Anderson through fucking Boogie Nights were there going, all right, fuck yeah, all right. I'm liking this. I'm digging in just this guy floating around. I'm digging the fact that it's 2.5 hours long and you've got to really fucking invest some time in it. And, you know, it'll get better on a few watches. It's made me want to rewatch Boogie Nights.
I always want to rewatch
And yeah, it's a hell of a thing. It's Inherent Vice. It really... I am looking forward to in 10 years' time when people start going, do you know what? Inherent Vice is a fucking great movie. And being able to there go, yeah, I fucking know. It was my #1 movie of that year.
There's not a single stitch in that movie at all. It is tight as fuck.
Yeah.
It is so well made.
Yeah, but there's just...
Every performance in it as well.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro turning up and going, you know, clients pay me for things, clients pay me for these services.
But like even the little bit parts, like oh god, is it Jenna Malone?
Yeah.
She's barely in it, but she's memorable. Jade is memorable.
But the Jenna Malone thing was that year, that like 8 and 9 months she had, where she was barely in things, but was barely in a few really good movies. Was that and Neon Demon, and there was something else that she was barely in.
I need to rewatch Neon Demon. Every time I think of it, I'm like, ugh.
Why?
I don't think I liked it.
Well, you're a fool.
But then am I just misremembering it, or is it just that it had a really? I don't know. I can't remember. We need to rewatch Neon Demon.
It's got sleazy Keanu Reeves in it.
I don't like her.
No, you don't. So you can't just judge it on the fact that you don't like the character.
What's she fucking called?
It's
Elle Fanning.
Fanning, yeah. She always looks like she needs some vitamin C tablets. She looks like she's got a bad cold.
That's a fair point.
It is a fair point, that actually, yeah. Yeah, Inherent Vice is a fucking stone cold fucking masterpiece.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, just purely for Bigfoot on his own shouting Moto Panakeku and then just fucking kicking his door in and just chowing down on all that fucking weed and disappearing.
that is. But that bit's really kind of sad. It's obviously going through some shit.
Or the phone call where he rings him up and says, oh, we went to the what is it, and she's gone.
Yeah.
She's gone now. It's like, what you say to me? It's like, she's gone. She's not there. We can't find her. It's like, what? Is she dead or not? She's gone. He just keeps repeating it.
It's fucking great.
Oh, it really is a heck of a thing.
Yeah.
So what I would say there, people, is if you remember watching Inherent Vice and you weren't quite convinced by it, please give it another go. I implore you.
If by any remote chance you haven't seen it, fucking watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful. Right. Our iTunes 99p rental of the week.
Film that I've actually been nattering at you to watch for ages, isn't it?
I'm looking for a missing person. Have either of you gentlemen, I'm assuming I can use the word gentleman. Have you seen him?
No, I ain't seen him.
Have you seen him?
Well, what do you do?
He ran away from the nursing home I work at. Why, have you seen him?
Nursing, so you got some kind of reward?
No.
And what are you, you bounty hunter?
Would I be a bounty hunter if I just said there's no bounty?
No. What are you, his sister? Mind her or something?
Not that it's any of your business, but I care about him, and he's alone, and I want to find him.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah,
maybe what?
Well, maybe he's alone. Maybe he ain't alone. You don't know. What if he's living the American dream and You know, he just ran into a bunch of hitchhikers, you know, like a Mark Twain story or something.
Mm-hmm.
You like Mark Twain?
Thank you.
You like Louis L'Amour? You got a phone number?
Yeah, I got a phone number.
Yeah? You gonna go give it to me? So if I find what you want me to do, just holler for you?
Yeah, just do that.
Yeah? You got a name?
Yeah, I got a name.
What is it?
Eleanor.
Eleanor. All right, partner.
Come back.
You goddamn criminal. You goddamn criminal, ain't you? You just little man on a lamb. Met your girlfriend back there, Eleanor. Cute one from the old folks' home. She likes you quite a bit. Got a picture of you and everything, showing everybody. It's not a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. It's a good thing. See, we're going 70 miles upriver. We need a tie that binds. And this right here, you being a wanted man, this is it. It's just the kind of tie we needed. Hell yeah. 2 bandits on the run.
Oh, yeah!
Hell yeah, partner. Come on. Hell yeah!
The Peanut Butter Falcon is...
Well, yeah, what was that? Yeah.
It was me making a nattering hand gesture at you.
Could you not do that again, please, you disrespectful piece of shit?
You do it to me all the time.
You witter a lot.
It is written and directed by Tyler Nilsson and Michael Schwartz.
I'm not talking to you, we are friends. Don't look at me.
And it stars The Beef, Zach Galtenschlag, that's not even the right name. Gottsagen.
Fucking hell, Mark. What was that?
I took a pun because I couldn't see it properly.
You need to get your eyes tested again.
I do, yeah. Bruce Dern, John Hawkes, Thomas Hayden Church, Leia Wolf, and Dakota Johnson.
I mean, that didn't even say Leia Wolf, does it?
Yayla Wolf.
Yayla Wolf, yeah.
That's what I said.
No, you said Leia Wolf, like Beowulf, but
100% said Layla, mate.
Nah. Yeah, and Dakota Johnson. Zach...
Leia Wolf.
Can I continue? Zach is a 22-year-old Down syndrome sufferer who, because of, well, happenstance, his family essentially have abandoned him, really, haven't they? And the state don't have anywhere for him to go. He ends up in a retirement home where all of the patrons obviously are above a certain age. He doesn't like the fact that he is around just old people all the time. So with the help of Bruce Dern, he escapes and goes on a quest to go and find the wrestling school of the saltwater redneck played by Thomas Hayden Church. At the same time, he runs into Shia LaBeouf's Tyler, who is currently on the run from John Hawkes for setting fire to all of his fishing equipment. Ian, the Peanut Butter Falcon. Thoughts, please.
So yeah, I complain a lot about the films that are at around LFF time about the films that are on the press site for streaming, and the Peanut Butter Falcon was one of them last year, and then it disappeared. Like, I'm assuming because it got distribution, so the production company didn't want it on there anymore because it got distribution. And I'm really annoyed about that, because if I saw the Peanut Butter Falcon last year, I'm pretty sure it would have been in my top 5 of the year, and it 100% would have been in my top 100 of the decade. I fucking adored this film. I would have happily have rewatched it again straight after. It's got that slightly kind of magical realist kind of... I mean, the setting kind of helped with this as well, but it very much reminded me of Beasts of the Southern Wild, which reminded me how much I need to rewatch the Beasts of the Southern Wild. But I love the fact that the film's namesake is his wrestling alter ego. I fucking adore that. I love the fact that Shia LaBeouf's character not once talks down to him.
Yep.
Dakota Johnson doesn't really either. She's just caring for him.
But I even, just to quickly jump in a second, I even like the fact that you get that little inter-exchange where she does care about him, but within that care, she does kind of the best phrase to use it is mother him. And the fact that the way that it's done as well in that scene where Shia LaBeouf comes up very quickly with an idea so he can't hear it and basically chews her out about it. Is really good. And then when she responds by saying, right, okay, I take what you're saying, but also remember this. And he doesn't argue with it. He goes, no, you're right. Yeah, fair enough. But his point is still valid.
Absolutely. It's the fact I love that the characters in this film, they're, I suppose with the Shia LaBeouf character, he starts off and he's on quite a bad trail, and it's like what is causing all of this, and it was just like a one bad situation that's led him to be in the circumstances that he's in, but it doesn't make him a bad guy. And obviously they have that discussion about like, are you a bad guy or a good guy? But I like that Shia LaBeouf doesn't take over the film really there. I will also say as well, from a production point of view, I think that the way that Shia LaBeouf obviously helps Zach through some of the scenes, it feels very natural. Like the way he just Zach might be saying the wrong thing every now and then Shia kind of thinks of a quick way of kind of rephrasing it, and then that kicks him in. I think that's really nice, and it shows that Shia LaBeouf is a very, very human performer.
Well, apparently the rule number one thing, that was apparently come up on the spot because Gottsagen couldn't come up with he couldn't remember which one was rule number one. He knew the rules, but couldn't remember which one was rule number one. So just as a joke said party. And Shia LaBeouf turned around and goes, well, no, rules are not party. And it turns back round. And apparently the bit, literally after that, Shia LaBeouf is just in fucking tears of laughter and can't stop laughing. And that's when they started putting it back into the movie.
It's so good.
Yeah, it went down to the point of where something like every so often, Shia LaBeouf would just turn around and shout, what's rule number one? Party. And it was like the end of every day's shoot or something like that. That's what Shia LaBeouf would shout.
No, I mean, that was the moment I paused the film and then text you guys and said, have you guys watched the Peanut Butter Falcon yet? It is charming in all caps lock. It was that moment because you fucking knew that wasn't supposed to happen. And they just went with it, and it was just a human moment, and they left it there. The thing is, even at the end, they fake you out with Shia LaBeouf dying, and I was like, if it ends like this, it is gonna harsh my buzz. I need the film to not end that way, and then it doesn't.
Apparently, the studio executives wanted it to. And the directors absolutely refused.
No, I mean it's no. It's the right decision was made.
Yeah.
And it is the right decision was 100%. They're driving to Florida. They're gonna be like 3 kind of outlaws all together. They're gonna go on adventures, and I'm sad I'm not gonna see it. I fucking loved this film. What do you guys think?
The interpretation of that ending was well square edged, though, wasn't it? You were like, I'm sure she's just taking him to a facility in Florida.
That's not what I said, no. I said I'm sure she's registered as his carer.
That's not. You said she was taking him to a facility in Florida. You did.
I said he's registered as his carer.
Nah.
Yes, I did.
Bollocks.
Anyway, what do you think, Rebecca?
I don't think they've just run away.
No, the film in general.
To be fair, I thought they run away. I thought it was just that magical realist thing of now they're going to just go off and have adventures.
Adventures, yeah. Pretty much the same, to be fair. It's a delightful film. It's really, really fucking heartwarming. The fact that he never condescends to him. You never kind of get this feeling that he feels like he has to look after him. He's just kind of taking him along with him. Like, he does look after him, but in the same way that they're both kind of looking after each other. Like, you go get that, I'll do this, blah, blah, blah. So and obviously Dakota Johnson, when she catches up with them, starts, like, treating him like a child again. And it's like, no, he's been out here doing this and he's got this far without being treated like a baby. Look, maybe pay attention to what he can do rather than what he can't do. Yeah. And the fact that the fact that Shia LaBeouf has that conversation with her while making him dunk his head in the water, and then she goes back at him while making him dunk his head in the water, and then he comes out with a fucking hand-caught fish. Kind of hammers that home.
There's a great bit where the second time he puts his head in, the fish swims by and you see his head towards it.
But the fact that Shia LaBeouf is just like, no, come on, fucking stop it. Stop treating him that way. Stop talking to him like that. And just kind of sticks up for him and gets her to view him as a human being that, can't do everything, but can do an awful lot more than she's giving him credit for. And it kind of makes her wake up and view him in a different way.
I'm the same as you guys. It is very charming. I think it's a fantastic film. I think it's weird that more hasn't been made of this movie.
To be fair, it quietly was one of the most successful indie films in the US last year. It might have been the most successful.
It was the most successful indie movie in the States last year. But it was Shia LaBeouf's performance in it is fantastic. That scene where he's asking him where the wrestling thing comes from, where they're sat down at night and Zach Coulson is laid down. And Shia LaBeouf's like rolling his cigarette and he's saying, why do you want to be the bad guy? He's like, because I can't do anything. And he's like, what? And he basically convinced him, no, you need to be the fucking good guy.
No, it's because his family deserves
it. My parents birthed anything,
But my parents left me,
And he's like, Shia LaBeouf, he's very much an actor that seems to be able to tap into shit. And isn't afraid to kind of like admit that he can tap into shit. But his delivery there, he never goes too over the top. He gets extra points for the fact that he punches a child in the face, which is always a wonderful thing. I love that bit. But just like straight away, you get that sense of when he goes back for him.
Yeah.
We don't go back for him, he goes back, but when he sees him and he's like, what the fuck are they doing? He can't swim.
Yeah.
And he's like saying that kid, he can't swim. And he jumps straight into him, and then he doesn't, like you say, he isn't taking him along because he thinks something might happen to him. He's taking him along because, do you know what, why not? You know, but there is that.
They're going the same way. Why
he does start looking after him, and he does start, what is it? But he says, you know, he literally says to him, you know, I'm going to take you on, you can come along with me, but you have to pull your own weight.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't just use him as a pack horse. He gives him the bag straight away, but then like a few minutes later, he's got the backpack back on him. So he's not just using him. There's a sense of he starts to go, do you know what? I'm going to look after this kid. And even when they get to the Thomas Hayden Church bit, and he goes up and he's basically saying to him, look, I know you don't need to do this, but fucking just please do this for me. And then when he fucking turns up in the car,
that's amazing.
Oh.
If I was in the cinema, I would have stood up and applauded at that.
I love the fact that there's hardly any outright. Most people in this movie are good people.
Yeah.
There's a couple of arseholes.
Yeah.
The two arseholes that Shia LaBeouf fucks over, you can kind of go, do you know what? Their reaction is extreme, but
you can see why they're
they have a point to make. The out Samson, the wrestler arsehole, is just a fucking arsehole.
I love the fact that when because he's said to him, Auntie, Saltwater said to him, you have to say the meanest thing that comes into your head.
Yeah.
And when he sort of like goes, "Ah," and then says the meanest thing that comes into his head, it's, you're not invited to my birthday party.
Yeah. There's a wonder, there's a brilliance to it all. It's not cynical cinema. It's not trying to tell you off.
It's not exploitative either.
No, it's not exploitative. It's not just telling the story from his point of view as well. It's not trying to create a magical out of this world. Look at what this person can do with the hand that he was dealt, and trying to over egg the pudding or anything like that.
He does lift up that really big wrestler.
But I think he could have lifted up that really big fucking wrestler. There's that. It's a really.
He is really strong.
It is really fucking strong. It's just a really beautiful film. The
thing is, like you're saying, if they had killed him off at the end, it would have all that kind of good feeling it's built up throughout the rest of the film.
It would have felt cynical.
It would have gone.
It would have felt like a cheap shot.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas it doesn't. Them going off and having more adventures as this weird little dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The fact that they're clearly going off, and it's like, and the weird thing is, it infers that she doesn't need that job.
Yeah.
So you get the feeling where she's basically gone, do you know what?
Fuck it.
Yeah. There's this bit off scene where she's gone to John Hawkes and gone, there's your $12,000 now, leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah.
There's a question we've got later on, and Dakota Johnson will come up in that question later on.
Okay.
But yeah, I think she's also fantastic in it.
She is.
But she's Dakota Johnson, so
Definitely not shit.
Definitely not shit. I'm in agreement with you, and that'd be my top 10 of the year, and I seen it last year.
Yeah, it's just one of the fucking warmest films I've seen in I don't know how long. It knocked me for six. This did. It's like Bruce Dern at the start, just very, very entertaining. I mean, Thomas Hayden Church, man, it's great to see him in something, and then just the fact that they actually had real wrestlers in the end as well. Wasn't it like Jake the Snake and Mick Foley were in it towards the end as well? Like that's brilliant. Why not? Let's just have that kind of real edge to it there as well. Yeah, lovely fucking film, lovely.
Yeah, audience poll, definitely not shit 60%, touching cloth 20%, and shit 20%.
I feel like personally offended by that.
Well,
yeah, slightly.
Questions? I have a couple. John Dangerfield, when will you do a Film Bastards watch along like Secret Sofa Cinema did?
We want to do so. What John's referring to there, I believe, is essentially like us watching a film and putting it out like publicly at the same time so that people can watch along and comment. Want to do that? It's aligning schedules. Would love to do that. It's just between recording this and the Nolan commentaries at the moment. It's kind of a sticky wicket to try and fit a third evening of recording in. But we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Suggest some films for us and we'll put it to a vote.
Yeah, we'll do it.
There you go.
Certainly. It's certainly something we've talked about doing.
If Tenet gets fucking delayed, then we've got all the time in the world. So, yeah.
Rick Kidd, at Rick J. Kidd. If you had to choose one actor or actress whose future films were the only films you could watch from now on, who would you pick? Whose judgment would you trust? I'm going to add a minor change to this. You can have one from each. So you can have an actor and an actress.
No, that's not his question.
Right, well, I'm changing it, and I'm hosting this week, so I've got my two.
The beef should be up there, to be fair. He's making some real interesting choices at the moment.
Shall I Duff? That's your guy one. I can go out with mine straight away.
Go on.
Male, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
He's been making solid, really good, interesting films.
What's he done for you lately, though?
For like the past 10 years now. you know, for longer post Zodiac, with the exception of maybe Prince of Persia.
His output's not super high though.
No,
Might
but
be a bit
still.
bored.
But you can either do that or you can go fucking Nick Cage and just have shite all the time. And female would be Dakota Johnson because A, she's an absolute fucking delight to watch, and B, the output she puts out is really fucking interesting. She is an actress who only does stuff that she wants to fucking do. Doesn't need the money. She'll just do whatever she wants. And I like the fact that she basically doesn't like to do promotional stuff because she just doesn't like people knowing anything about her.
Yeah.
You know,
Gyllenhaal's a good shout as well, actually.
Yeah, so that'd be my two. Ian?
Adam Driver and Saoirse Ronan.
Not many actresses I like that much, to be fair. I'll probably just skip actress.
Because you're a bit catty, aren't you?
I'm not catty.
I'll have another pick from you then, Florence Pugh.
See, catty.
I just don't like her.
Oh, Florence
Like,
Pugh, crush me with your thighs. Thank you very much.
Oh dear.
I actually saw a thread today on Twitter because you know she quite often, and she shouldn't have to do this, comes out to defend her relationship with Zach Braff, right? There was a thread where people actually started having a go at Zach Braff for the fact that he never comes out to defend it, and basically said, "Is this?" And it started out, I said, well, why isn't Zach Braff always coming out to defend it? And as the thread went along and further down, it basically, like, these people had decided that it was clearly an abusive relationship where he was condescending to her and making it she had to defend everything. And I thought, hang on a minute, you've defended her at the start of it. And said, why does she need to? And then by the end of it, doing exactly the thing that you're defending her for doing.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, he's supposed to be a really nice guy, isn't he? Like, why should she not be with him?
I don't care.
I think she just had a crush on him watching Scrubs when she was younger, went out to Hollywood, was introduced to it, and it was like, yeah, I'll fuck JD from Scrubs, why not? And it probably went from that. Good on her.
She literally has said in an interview, not many people get to meet, find out is great, and date their crush they had in high school.
Oh.
You know, I always put out, why do people give a shit? They're both adults, they're both of legal age. Why do people give a shit?
Is it because of the age difference then?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's 100% the age difference.
Cool. I always
so how old's Chris Martin?
Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson are probably about 4 or 5 years apart.
Really?
Who the fuck's Chris Martin? Who's Chris Martin going out with?
Dakota Johnson.
Is he really?
Yeah, they've been together for like 3-4 years now.
Shut the fuck up! Really?
Yeah, because she literally does not do any interviews where they talk about her personal life. She literally will sit and refuse to answer questions.
I'd love to watch that.
Well, she basically chewed Ellen out, didn't she? That time.
That was about her birthday party.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see interview footage of her sat there and going, oh, so you're dating Chris Martin? No. Also, you know, I just wanted to ask you some questions about it. No.
She literally does that.
But I want to see footage.
Yeah.
I think that'd be amusing.
Or she just gets up and just walks out.
Nice.
But has it written in that they can't use that footage because she's previously stated, I will talk about the thing that I am here to talk about. I will not discuss my private life. Yeah.
I really like that. Chris Martin, Dakota Johnson. Good on the both of them.
Apparently, during an interview for...
He's punching a bit there, though, isn't he?
During a promotional bit for the last 50 Shades movie, somebody asked her about the Chris Martin thing in one of the little room bits, and her response was, when was the last time you had a dick in your ass? To the interviewer. And she just went, what? She went, oh, sorry, we're just allowed to ask really personal questions. you know, we're talking about a movie where there's a lot of sex in it. I want to know the last time you dick in your ass. And it was like, it's not nice, is it? Continue. It's like, but that woman gives zero fucks.
Oh, 0 fucks.
And it's kind of beautiful.
So hang on. So Don Johnson is potentially going to be Chris Martin's father-in-law.
Apparently might even already be.
Oh, wowee. Good for both of them. Fucking hell. That is new information and I couldn't be happier.
So what are we covering next week then, guys?
Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Been wanting to watch that for ages.
Cool.
Like ages.
Cool.
Amelie. Rewatch.
Yay.
Casino.
I'm very much looking forward to rewatching Casino.
Phantasm 2.
Now, you just need to get yourselves a 4K TV, a 4K Blu-ray player, and a copy of Casino.
I thought that's going to happen before next week.
We could watch it
Oh,
so
for
that it
God's
doesn't
sake.
look like a cheap BBC production.
Anyway, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote is 2 hours 12 minutes long.
That's fine, fine with that. I'm fine with hanging out in Terry Gilliam's world for 2 hours 12.
Mildly problematic Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an interesting cast, and it'll be fun to see what the fuck he.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the movie actually looks like that he's been trying to make for 20 odd years.
Yeah, I'm keen.
Yeah. Right, so that is episode 346. We thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to check out We Are Pod Syndicate. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, where you can give us $2 a month, and we will give you much joy. What?
No. You're just very gesticulating.
I'm a gesticulating man.
You are.
So thank you very much for listening, guys, and we shall see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
I'm currently looking at pictures of Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson visiting Disneyland with Chris Martin's kids. This is just lovely. Bye, everyone.
Oh, that was a good show, that one.
Chris Martin just looks like a really good dad. He's just got his arm around his kids all the time.
The thing is with Chris Martin is you get the feeling he is just a really nice guy. I mean, I've met him a few times. I've got pissed with him once.
Yeah.
Yep. In Plonkers.
Oh, yeah, they did the video, hand washing video, didn't they?
Did they?
It's Dakota Johnson with her hands behind her back, Chris Martin washing his hands.
Oh, I'm not with Chris Martin fan. But that shit. I just got to that, can you?
Thrown like a star in my vast sleep, I opened my eyes to take a peep, to find that I was by the sea, gazing with tranquility. Just then when the hurdy-gurdy man came singing songs of love. Then when the hurdy-gurdy man came singing songs of love. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 sang. Histories of ages past, unenlightened shadows cast down through all eternity, the crying of humanity. 'Tis then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing songs of love. Then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing songs of love. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 hurdy-gurdy. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 sang. sang. Here comes a roly-poly man, he's singing songs of love. Roly-poly, 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 he sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 gurdy, he sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 gurdy, he sang.
This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.